back in July. We are scraping for topics. It's easy now. I mean, Monday, yesterday I did a 4-hour show. It was easy. Those hour shows were tough. This is easy. Yo, got some new drip on, okay? This is a hoodie that I got from the Soup Store. That's the student store over here in Tuscaloosa. And I got the Tide hat on. The Tide hat is from Chris Mobley. I think there's one in Birmingham. I'll ask them. There is one here in Tuscaloosa. There's 2 of them. There's one down by the Strip, and then there's one up on McFarland. McFarland goes every single direction in Tuscaloosa. Who's coming to the game? There was 2 hoodies that I could have chose, right? So there was this hoodie, and then there was another one that just said Roll Tide. Who's coming to the game, right? Kaylin wants the hoodie. Everybody wants the hoodie. I try to wear as much white on the show as I can, but yesterday I was rocking that crimson color hoodie. I love hoodies. I wear hoodies every day. The light hoodies. This one's a little bit heavy, but we're getting close to this September. But it's still hot. It is so hot here. The cold summer. Amanda's coming to the game. That's what's up. 4 days away. Mr. B, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. On today's show, Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate you guys being here. On YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok. Who's watching from TikTok? Also on Spotify, Bama Football on YouTube. We're going to take one more look at these week 1 games. Probably continue to look at the games as we get closer. Remember, Colorado plays North Dakota State on Thursday. Missouri plays on Thursday. Those are interesting games. Missouri comes over here to Tuscaloosa. Colorado, it's just interesting to watch, right? That's why I like to watch Florida State, because it's drama, right? It's drama. All right, Tyson Helton, we're going to play his opening press conference, the opening remarks of the Western Kentucky football coach as well. He had some interesting things to say. He reminds me of one of my buddies that I hang out with here in Tuscaloosa when I play golf. It's hilarious, like a doppelganger, right? Look, they're coming over here. Alabama's favored by more than 30. I asked you guys yesterday if Alabama will beat Western Kentucky by more than 30. I think a lot of people felt that they're going to. Todd is going for the Bison. North Dakota State, those teams don't mess around. Same thing with the schools up in Montana. You saw Montana, right? They were able. It was in Montana State or Montana. They were able to beat the New Mexico Lobos. Scored 3 touchdowns. Bronco Mendenhall, now the head football coach at New Mexico. We're gonna just pipe in Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference. Just listen to it one more time. Maybe kind of pick out a couple sound bites that we can dive into. We're gonna talk about the injury report for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'll save you the drama right there. I mean, looks like these guys are absolutely healthy. I mean, the only guy who seems like he could be questionable is Jeremiah Alexander, who's a second-team inside linebacker. But remember, this team has 3 first-team inside linebackers. Not that 3 will play on the field at the same time, but guys that they can rotate in and out, right? This team is very healthy. I think that's why they probably got off to a really fast start in this opener. I think the hunger factor has to be very high. Of course, for everybody, but for Alabama specifically, you got a new coach. You had to go out and get a new coach other than Nick Saban. People are writing you off. People don't feel that Alabama still has it. Mr. B says, Kyle, I work for FedEx office. Eli Gold has printed his cards for his radio broadcast with me for years. I saw him yesterday. It's hard seeing him in Jack State gear. You know what? In life, different chapters are tough to close. New chapters start. Something that you guys were accustomed to was Eli Gold, the voice of Eli Gold. I have met Chris Stewart, and I think he'll do a good job. But I think that you just kind of, how many years consecutively did you just hear Eli Gold? I would love to be in a position where I could have Eli Gold on Saturdays right here on Bama Football on YouTube. How about that? That would be amazing. He probably has some non-compete, though, that he can't cover Alabama football, something like that. That's kind of like the next level, right? But you love Eli Gold, and you support the next guy coming in. You give him an opportunity, and everything has changed. You have a new You know, play-by-play announcer. You have a new head football coach. You have a new OC. You have a new DC. That's okay. All right. I'm going to ask you today, what do you want to see from this team in week 1? Like, what do you want to see? What do you want to see from it, from like a team standpoint, a schematic standpoint? And then I want to ask you, point 6, who are you most excited to see? And I'm talking players right here. I'm talking like, what players are you excited to see? We'll look at the week 1 depth chart going into this first game as well. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. From Caitlin Snowman to Ryan Wingo. What's up, man? Appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. North Alabama Storm Chaser. That's what's up. That's cool. What a job. I saw the movie Twister. Who saw this movie Twister? Okay, I can be a harsh grader. I like movies like that. Like the first Twister was really good. You see it on like TBS, you leave it on. It's good. Same thing with like Shawshank, right? Like those are good. But like this Twister movie, I didn't like it. I didn't. I was really disappointed with it. I didn't like it. It was like two thumbs down on the Kyle Henderson movie rating. I didn't like it. Todd, did you like it? All right. Okay. These are the week 1 matchups right here. I'm going to pipe in some sound from Coach Prime at Colorado. I'll play that in just a second, followed by the head football coach at North Dakota State. You're going to get kind of some opening remarks from those two. I'm going to play that here in just a second as we look at the week 1 lines, because I think when you look to week 1 of the college football season, there's so many things to go over, right? Tim Polasek, he's the head football coach at North Dakota State. I'll play that in just a second. North Dakota State going to Colorado, I think is actually a pretty interesting game to watch. And I want to ask you, while we're playing this soundbite of Coach Prime, inside the comment box right now, we're just talking Colorado, okay? Are they overrated? Are they decent? Or are you unsure? I used to cover Colorado, 10 years ago. The thing about it was Boulder, I really like Boulder. You know, I'm from New Mexico. Boulder, you know, it's above Denver. There's a lot of good things to do in Boulder. I'm not going to lie. They didn't really have that pageantry of football since like the 90s. They always wanted to get back there. Now, Coach Prime has put Colorado back on the map. But in terms of winning, I knew that they would be a little bit better, but the Pac-12 for them is just going to be tough. Now going into this Big 12, I think it's going to be even harder. Coach Prime is polarizing, right? His press conferences are fire. I'm going to play the audio right now going into this opener. It'll just be like a minute or two, and then we'll go to Tim Polasek, the opening comments for him for North Dakota State, just as kind of we heat up the college football season. And you guys answer that question on the board right now. Is Colorado overrated, decent, unsure? And I'm going to play that audio from Coach Prime starting right now.
You've coached, obviously.
Why you never invited me on your show?
Would you like to come on my show?
I just wonder why you never invited me.
I wasn't sure that you'd come on.
Why?
I'd love to have you on.
Why wouldn't I come on?
I don't know. I've reached out before when you first got here.
Who did you reach to?
I reached out to the department, and I never heard
They're right
back.
there. You know they're right there.
Yes, I understand. I reached out to the department.
I got you. I come on your show.
I would love that.
Come
Thank
on
you
your
very
show.
much.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. You've coached your children, obviously, their entire lives, and you haven't coached a game without them. Does this feel like a culmination for you arriving to this season now, this being the last go-around, and obviously
For with my sons?
or just in your life?
No,
really?
it's not a last go-around for me. I'm just getting started in this college football thing.
Does it feel like the closing of a chapter? Is I guess
with my kids, yeah, certainly. I don't think it's the closing. It's just different levels to this thing. Although I'm 100% sure that I'm not going to be their coach next year, I'm still going to have influence on their lives because I'm their father. So, you know, I play two roles in their lives, and just so happens when I'm on the field, I'm not dad. I'm coach. So off the field, that's when I become dad. So I'm still going to play those roles. I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of Junior. Bucky, he don't have a uniform on, and I'm so darn proud of him for what he's doing for us as a school, as a social media, and he's changing the game. So he's probably the MVP of everything right now. He's not jealous, not envious. He loves his brothers, and you can see it and hear it in his voice when he's filming them.
As a competitor, an elite competitor that you were, I imagine that that you still are, clearly. I guess post-playing career is what I meant. It changes, right?
Yes,
for different athletes. I've worked with plenty of them that experience different, things after they retire. Does it feel like this season heading into it for you is maybe from a coaching standpoint some of the most competitive juices that you've felt yet?
That's a great question. Everything I do is competitive. I mean, even endorsements, even just talking to the young men and women last night, the freshmen. So I'm just a competitive person. We just walked during the 2 miles, and, I had to win. I'm going to turn it on the last few steps. And I had Jay Field and Coach Pollard. I think I could get them anyway. But, we compete. So I'm a competitive-natured person, not only with sports, but with life. I want to win in life. I want you all to win in life. I don't want anybody in this room to lose. I want you all to be successful, but let's go about it the right way.
All right, that was Coach Prime as Colorado plays North Dakota State this coming Thursday in a game that everybody's going to be watching. You know what? I really like North Dakota State's football coach. I'm gonna bring this one up actually on the monitor right here. This is Tim Polasek. This is courtesy of GoBison.com. I listened to about 10 minutes of this press conference. I really, really like this head football coach. Asked about kind of playing in this environment, going on the road, playing in Boulder. It's worth a watch. Here we go. Tim Polasek. It's like a minute or two.
Handling the moment and handling the stage, because it's going to be a little bit different, I think, than what a lot of these guys have been through.
We've talked a lot about what pregame is going to look like, what the hoopla is going to look like. I've asked them to eliminate or limit social media starting yesterday. There's just no reason for us to be on that right now. We should be in our notes. We should be in our, we should be sleeping, those kind of things. So we've talked a lot about just what's going to be going on pregame. I mean, it could be a concert going on. There could be multiple superstars. We're going to bring Tyrone Braxton with us, and he'll be down there with us. But they could have 50, 60 people on the sideline that could all be distractions for us. And we've got to stay very focused on our routines individually, and then just stay connection-oriented with our own players. I want to see a lot of connection, a lot of high-fiving, a lot of patting on the butt, a lot of fist pumping and those kind of things. And then as far as the game environment goes, you just rely on bringing crowd noise to the forefront at practice. You bring in music, you try to change it up, make it quiet, those kind of things. And so hopefully we prepare them the best we can. It's no different than Iowa going into Penn State. You can't replicate that.
Clemson haven't played.
All right, next up we'll have Kirby Smart talking about that's a funny screenshot right there of Kirby Smart. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. We're just warming the show up, talking some college football as we look at the Week 1 games. North Dakota State taking Colorado. Is anyone taking North Dakota State to win this game? I didn't even see a line on the game. Jarvis, my buddy, Jarvis, do we have a line on this game? I didn't see it. Murray State also taking on Missouri. That'll be Thursday night. Temple taking on Oklahoma. I put that on the board because Oklahoma and Alabama play this coming season. As you know, Oklahoma now in the SEC. You also have number 14 Clemson taking on number 1 Georgia in a game that everybody is going to be watching. Georgia is favored by 13.5. Here's some audio from Kirby Smart talking about this game going into the Week 1 matchup against Clemson, and Todd has it as Colorado -9. Thank you, Todd. Here's Kirby Smart. This is audio. It's like another minute talking about this game going into Clemson.
In several years, what are you looking at? What are you studying? Are you looking at maybe some games from last year? Are you looking at the TV copy from the spring game? What are you studying to identify their identity?
Well, you study the history of the coordinators, and you look at that hard. Dabo has an impact on the offense, so you look at what he's done through his time being there. The most recent you look at is last year's games, and nobody is exactly what they were the year before, but you don't have any other options to study. You don't have game film of this year, and this is the only game that we'll go into without game film of this year, so it all starts to change. But I'm sure everybody across the country is the same way. You know, do you have a new wrinkle? Do you have a new player that's an impact that you're trying to use in a certain way? You know, what are you going to do different? What are you going to do the same? But at the end of the day, coaches chase all those things, but it boils down to who blocks the best, who tackles the best, who makes the least catastrophic mistakes, and avoiding turnovers and being explosive.
This is we're gonna have Dabo Swinney coming up. Is there anyone inside the comment box that is taking Clemson to beat Georgia? Not just from like a fansy perspective, but is there anyone else? I mean, I think that Georgia's going to win. Now, are they going to win by 14 points? I don't know. That's rather large for a game that's at a neutral site. Who knows? I think Georgia wins that game. Is there anyone that's just taking Clemson? Not Clemson to cover the points, but like to win the game outright? Type C for Clemson if you're taking Clemson to beat Georgia. Is there any other game on here? I mean, I listed yesterday Miami and Florida. That's an interesting one to me. I listed Notre Dame against Texas. I think Texas A&M beats Notre Dame. Okay, so it's me, Marvin's inside the comment box, is saying that he's with Clemson. Hey, Caitlin became a fan funder. She's been trying to become a fan funder for like a year. Caitlin, welcome to the show. Holy cow. All right, let's play with Dabo Swinney. You're going to hear some audio. It's like a minute real quick of Dabo Swinney going in this game against Georgia.
Our world, you know, unlike baseball or basketball where you play every day or every other day, football, you know, I mean, you might have 15, 16, 17 days out of a year that you actually get to play the game that you spend all this time working, preparing, you know, training for. And so it's always exciting to get that first game. And then you throw in the fact that, hey, you're playing in a kickoff classic, in a neutral site, you know, in a great venue like Mercedes-Benz, and oh, by the way, you're playing the number one team in the nation. You better believe it. That adds a little spice to it for everybody, you know. So it's a lot of fun. And
All right, that was Dabo Swinney talking about this matchup upcoming against Georgia. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Before we get to this next press conference with Western Kentucky's head football coach, whose name is Tyson Helton, he provides some good commentary talking about the fact that he has named a quarterback, which is going to be TJ Finley, a name that we are familiar with, right? You've seen him play before. He was at Auburn, played against Alabama when he was at LSU. He has a couple quarterbacks to choose from. It's a really good press conference upcoming. But before we move to that, is there any other games that you kind of see an upset on the board here? I thought about adding Brian Kelly and LSU. Maybe we'll listen to that press conference tomorrow with Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley. That's an interesting one. That game is on Sunday. And then Boston College taking on Florida State. You imagine if Florida State loses their second game consecutively? Talk about an absolute meltdown. And look, they're favored by 17. I don't know if that line has changed. Todd, maybe update me on that for Boston College and Florida State. You imagine if they were to come out of the gates 0-2? They were already asking War Chant to refund them because the reporters were like blowing them up, saying that this was going to be the team that was going to continue that 13-1, right? They lose in the opening. No, Georgia Tech is a very good team. I am watching that Boston College Florida State game 1,000,000%. I might even do a watch along because of the drama. I think Texas A&M beats Notre Dame, and I wouldn't be surprised if if Florida beats Miami. I just think that Florida, because considering everybody's been talking that this is Billy Napier's last run, that he'll be fired, which I think he will be because that back end of the schedule is just ultra challenging. I don't know. List the upsets. Okay, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys working our way through Tuesday's topics 1 through 7. We talked about the Week 1 college football games. Let's listen to Tyson Helton. This is the Western Kentucky football coach. He spoke to the media yesterday. He has some really good commentary talking about this upcoming game, and he reminds me, like I said earlier, of one of my buddies that I play golf with. They look exactly, they even speak the same, which is kind of eerie. I'm going to let this play. It's like 5-6 minutes. He talks about Alabama. You can't really hear the questions too much, so I'll try to adjust it. But he talks about naming the quarterback, talks about playing in the environment in Tuscaloosa. Here's that press conference. This was Monday. This is courtesy of Western Kentucky.
Tyson Helton, Coach will open it up with a statement, then we'll jump into questions.
Yeah, excited about game week. Finally here. Been working really hard for a long time now, and I know our players are really excited about this week. Can't think of a better game to start off with a great opponent in Alabama. Get to go to their place, storied program. I know our guys are really excited to get the opportunity to play them, and it's just been a lot of hard work, and you know, now you finally get to go out there and play somebody other than yourself, and it will be a great challenge for us, but a challenge that we're excited to get after, and looking forward to a good ball game. With that said, questions.
I guess the first question is, have you named a starting quarterback for Saturday?
Well, you know, TJ will run out there first, but what I've told both quarterbacks is they both need to be ready to play. We'll see how the game goes. I felt like in camp, either one of those men were deserving of being the starter. You could flip a coin, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, but somebody has to run out there first, so TJ will run out there first. But you know, you could expect to see Caden in there. Wouldn't be shocked if, you know, he gets in there, and we're going to continue to evaluate both quarterbacks throughout the early part of the season, and just because I think both quarterbacks can win for us. I don't want any one particular guy looking over his shoulder or feeling pressure. I know what that feels like, but I do think competition brings out the best in everybody, so we'll continue that piece of it. Really like how both quarterbacks are leading our football team. They work well together. Our guys respond well to them, and I think they understand that team success equals personal success, and both of those guys are about the team. So TJ will go out there first, but I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, you see Caden playing some too out there at some point.
TJ haven't started against Alabama in the past. Was that a factor in the decision too, just that he kind of knows the environment and he would be a little more used to it?
Not really. That didn't really cross my mind. You know, for me, it's more of how do I feel about the early part of the season, and what are we trying to do, and all those kind of things. I know he's been in a lot of those environments, and that certainly helps. But Caden was in an environment in the bowl game last year that, you know, that's a tough comeback victory that, you know, one of the greatest of all time in bowl history. So he certainly can handle the pressure as well. For me, it's just more about somebody's got to run out there first, and where do I feel comfortable, you know, with that piece. And, you know, TJ is a very mature guy. He's a veteran guy. He's been in a lot of fires, and so it does make it a little easier to let him go out there first.
When it comes to like the size of the opening opponent, I mean, it's been some years since Western's opened up against a team of this aspect, but how do you really kind of go throughout the week before Saturday to get the guys kind of composed and prepared before they take the field?
You know, our guys always do a great job of when we play on the road anyways. They get excited about those opportunities. You know, I can remember when I was a player, we loved the first game I ever got to play in was at Alabama. It was in Birmingham at Legion Field, and I was with University of Houston, and I could just remember the excitement that I had as a player. So, you know, for our guys, it's more about it's being the first game, you know, being at a great environment at Alabama, great fan base. You know, all those things just add to the excitement. Our guys do a great job. They have a pro mentality. You know, really it's not about the opponent. They just focus on their job and what they need to do. And so I'm not really concerned about, you know, the environment or where we're headed, who we're playing. You know, they've been in a lot of those places before. And I think it will elevate their play, to be quite honest with you, especially being the first game of the year. We got a lot of new faces, a lot of guys that, you know, we think can be impact players for us, and so they'll be excited to get out there and try to show everybody who they are, you know, and try to make everybody say, hey, who's number so-and-so? He's making a lot of plays out there. So there'll be a lot of good things to look forward to for this game for sure.
How did the Cougars do in that game?
We actually played the offensive coordinator.
All right, fam. That was a good press conference right there by Western Kentucky's head football coach, just talking about the fact that he has named his starter, which will be TJ Finley, and I know people are curious about him, and they've heard about him. He's 6'7", right, 260 pounds. So is their other quarterback as well. Alabama favored in that game right now by over 30 points. So it's always fun. I love, more than anything, listening to the opposing head football coach talk about his team. It's great. Like, after the game, it's always interesting to hear, win or lose. It's always great to hear what the opposing coach has to say. Let's play some Coach Kalen DeBoer press conference from yesterday, just a little bit of it, and then we'll come back and I have some questions to ask you on the back end of the show. Now, as you know, yesterday you had Nick Sheridan, Kane Womack, and then you had Coach Kalen DeBoer. That is something that Alabama will do this coming season every single Monday. Now, you're going to get today player interviews, which will be after practice. And then following that, you will get, on Wednesday, you will get more assistant coaches. And then you'll get Coach Kalen DeBoer's show on Wednesday night. Coach Saban did his show on Thursday night. Coach Kalen DeBoer will do his show on Wednesday night at bomb hours. And then Thursday, Friday, there's no media opportunities. Of course, right here on Bama Football on YouTube, we'll still have coverage every single day throughout the season. And I appreciate you guys being here. Here's Coach Kalen DeBoer. Let's just listen to a few of his opening remarks and then kind of dive into it. Maybe we missed something yesterday, but here's Coach Kalen DeBoer. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it or whatever, here's Coach Kalen DeBoer from yesterday at the podium.
Our fan base, our players are excited. So they've put a lot of work in. The thing I guess I'm most impressed with is just how they've sustained a high level of energy, not just the first week or the first 2 weeks. They've really sustained a high level of energy, focus, all the way through camp. And, Saturday was, I think, a great example for us. Had a great practice, just a lot of, just get to work. The same thing I would expect tomorrow. But, you kind of get that week out and things like that. And I was just really impressed with our guys' mindset. And yesterday, again, just getting the guys together and getting their workouts and just the film sessions and just the level of attention to detail. They're excited to play and excited to hit someone else. Really looking forward to this Saturday against a Western Kentucky team that, coached by Coach Helton. A lot of respect. I know our staff has a lot of respect, both sides of the ball, myself included. We know Coach Helton's done a great job there at Western Kentucky, as well as the rest of his career. Going to be, a great football game. Got a coach with a offensive mindset. I think defensively we got to make sure we're aware of what they're going to do to attack us. And there's a lot of questions, I think, in both sides of the ball, all phases, especially the first game. Depth charts and things like that. You just pretty much looking at a roster and trying to place all the transfers and all the guys that are returning, especially on their team, trying to place those into spots that you might expect and figure out the numbers the best you can. So looking forward to another great week here going into the game, and excited about it where we're at. So questions?
Start with left side, Chase.
Coach, at your introductory press conference in January, you were asked about the offensive system from Washington, and you mentioned that to some extent you also need to play to your personnel. So going into week one, to what extent have you had to adjust what you did at Washington to suit the personnel you inherited?
Yeah, I think every year. It isn't even just about one school to another. I think it's the roster you have. And each year that gets tweaked a little bit. You might be running back, with a little more depth, or tight ends, is your one of your key areas. I think we're very balanced across all of the skill positions. And then, of course, you look at your quarterback, you look at the strength, what you can do offensive line-wise. And so it's never exactly from one year to the next, even if there's a lot of continuity, because you're going to lose someone. So there's certainly some adjustments that Coach Sheridan, our staff, has done in really working with the personnel. So, that will continue to evolve as the season goes along. You have guys that continue to improve, especially younger guys or guys that are kind of taking those next steps. They'll make those big steps, and you'll really incorporate them, and it might be a package at some point that they're incorporated in, and then all of a sudden it's something where they're a regular player and maybe even a starter.
back row right, Jamie, and we'll go to Ryan right after.
Hey, Coach, what do you get first game jitters about?
Well, I talked to the team, and I think what it really comes down to, and are you asking specifically for me? I don't know if you get like jitters, but I think it's good to have butterflies, right? It's good to have like an excitement, just excited for the week. And, we talk to our guys about, whether it's nervousness or anxiety, butterflies, that's not a bad thing, because it means it's really important. It means that they've put a lot into it and they want to perform well. I think it always comes down to your preparation. And if you've prepared the best you can and you're ready and, more than your opponent and done everything possible all week long, as well as your teammates. And, when you're prepared well, you're going to be confident. And that's the whole key. That's the whole key. And it just doesn't start this week. It's something that's been ongoing since the day the staff got here, since the first day of workouts in the winter. There's just a mindset that's been and happening. And we talk about creating an attitude, not installing special plays that help your attitude. You create an attitude all year long. And so, if you're anxious and things like that, it means you're a little bit unsure. And so I really, I'm excited about the way we've prepared. And so, it's going to be important to these guys. For me, I think it's just a matter of making sure, again, I'm prepared with all the things, whether it's the schedule leading up to kickoff, whether it's just making sure, all the staff is aligned with our communication and how we want that to flow, that our guys understand, all the little details, especially a first game. We've gone through that over the last couple of weeks with little mock games and mock Saturdays, and talked about the hotel on Friday and Saturday, what that's all going to look like. We've kind of wrapped that up on Saturday with some final things in the stadium, just on even which sideline and where the benches are and who's sitting where. And we've talked about the tablets and all that kind of stuff, and the coach-to-player communication. There's a lot of new things even this year that are specific to college football, but obviously there's even more when it comes to a new staff and just everyone being on the same page.
All right, that was Coach Kalen DeBoer, just a little bit of his press conference. You know what? I think when you listen to him, you're getting the same type of person every single press conference. He's never too high. He's never too low. He's literally just the same. I'm curious to see what he's like after the game, to see if he kind of rises up a little bit. I do like his demeanor, and I do like the way that he's handled the spring, the summer, this first week. It's a good press conference. And you see right here by his last comments that he's very meticulous by going over the fine details. And that was something that made Coach Saban so successful. And I think in life, if you are meticulous and you have a list and you kind of can knock out those things that are on your mind, it makes game flow easier, right? Talking about this is where you sit. This is the tablet situation. A to Z, I work off, not to say that I'm Coach Kalen DeBoer, but I'm very list oriented. See? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So I go down a list every single day in terms of the things that I want to do. It just helps me stay dialed in. I respect that about Coach Kalen DeBoer. I appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube, also available on Spotify. The show is running live on Facebook and TikTok today. So everything comes first here to Bama Football on YouTube, and then it circulates out. So I appreciate you. Kevin, I think you might be going through some shoulder surgery or something like that. Prayers up, man. Get better. We need you for this season. I appreciate you being a member of the Fan Funder Club right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And if you want to support Bama Football on YouTube, TikTok, you can provide a gift right here on Bama Football on YouTube. You can become a Fan Funder. Super Chats, greatly appreciated. Same thing on Facebook. Thumbs up, like, share goes a long way. Kim, what's going on? I see you inside the comment box. If I missed you inside the chat, don't take offense to it. Hold it against my head, not my heart. There's a lot of comments, and I really appreciate you guys being here right here on Bama Football on YouTube. 227 up on the house on YouTube. If we could get the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Let's continue to move on. Talked about the Week 1 football schedule. I want to highlight this real quick. This is the Week 1 injury report, and I can't stress this point enough. This team is certainly super healthy going into Week 1. The gauntlet of this year is going to be like something you haven't seen before. It's a long season. You have 2 bye weeks. You have very difficult road games in the SEC. You have a very challenging opponent coming in a couple weeks against Georgia. South Carolina, I think, we're probably taking them too lightly. These first couple of teams, they have experienced quarterbacks. We all know how that game was against South Florida. It's one game at a time. This quarterback coming in, he's 6'7", 260. Remember KJ Jefferson from Arkansas when he got Terran Arnold and he just swatted him down? Even Coach Saban was talking about this is a big quarterback. And the quarterback for South Florida, he wasn't easy either to deal with. So Jaden Roberts, who had surgery following Alabama's second scrimmage, is going to be good to go on Saturday. That's coming from Coach Kalen DeBoer. He said it yesterday. Jam Miller, Alabama's running back who's been in a black jersey for, 2 weeks. He's going to be good to go for Saturday as well. I don't even know what injury it was. It could have been like a tight hammy. Who knows? I don't think it was serious at all. I didn't realize that Jeremiah Alexander, he has an injury. I don't even know what it is. And I guess I could have listed Xavier Brown to the board as well because he was in a cast. Then he got the cast off. I talked about it last week. Maybe that's why I didn't add it. But he's the corner, the freshman standout, along with Brian Williams, going to start at the corner position. By the way, we're going to go over the depth chart going into week 1. The team is so healthy, and I think it is so important to be able to start this game healthy and to stay, healthy the entire season. How many years have we gone through a season? There's just been injury plagued. And not to say that you didn't have the depth, but as you'll see on the depth chart that I provide, I didn't list the 2 deeps, but you'll just get an idea of how deep Alabama is, how talented they are. And I think at the back end of the season, it'll be the teams who have the most depth that'll be competing for the national championship. This is like an NFL light type season. Think about it. You play for the title, you're going to play like 17 games, maybe 16. Kim with the question, Kyle, do you know if Coach Saban will be at Alabama? Oh, yeah. I think he'll be. You know what? That's a really good question considering he's on game day. I don't know if he – yeah, so where's game day at this Saturday? That's where – that's his job is to be at game day. Now, he will be at Alabama's game on September 28th. We don't even have to guess if game day is going to be here. They will be here for that game 1,000,000%. So maybe that's the first game he comes back to watch Alabama play. That's going to be a surreal experience for him. I love him on College Game Day, by the way. He's the best. My favorite thing so far was him and Pat McAfee talking college football at the pub in Ireland. That's it. That's what we want to see. As a consumer of content, that's it. Coach Saban, Pat McAfee, pub. Keep doing it. Pubs around the country. Pat McAfee and Saban talking football. Love it. All right. Okay. So I have this question for you guys, and I love to have fan interaction. I appreciate you guys' feedback on this. I guess I could add a poll too. I like to add the polls. Let me see if I can add a poll real quick. So while I'm adding this poll, why don't you go ahead and start typing your answers inside the comment box. And let me ask you the question. What do you want to see on Saturday? Effective passing game? A creative offense? A running game? Pressure from the defense? Turnovers? So I think I can only list 4 within, you're about to see a poll pop up, but I'm curious to see why I'm adding this, what you guys think. So go ahead and comment inside the comment box. I'm going to add the option right now. So what do you want to see? And I'm going to list just 4 options. So I'm going to say passing game. I'm going to say creative O. I'm going to say QB pressure. And I'm going to say turnovers. And what I mean by turnovers is like forcing turnovers, just to clarify. Because remember, it was part of kind of Coach Kane Womack's swarm defense was to create turnovers. I love the soundbite. One of my favorite soundbites this year was Coach Kane Womack talking about the fact that he's done research on the NFL and the teams that created the most turnovers came from quarterback pressure. You want to know how A-type I am? Do you see how this graphic isn't perfectly like how like the E is like cutting into the graphic? That's like throwing me off. For all you A-type out there. I get it. I see it. Don't worry. Trust me. I'm going to fix it. All right. So let's see what, so far with the results, we have 43% saying quarterback pressure. Ooh, I like it. Quarterback pressure is going to be great to see. You're going to be hitting a big quarterback. Alabama clearly has pass rushers. Can't wait to see this wolf position. I'll highlight it in just a minute. See what the bandit position can do and see if LT Overton in his, I guess, first start, him or Jameer Lathan. I think that either one of those guys. So, for example, Western Kentucky, and as we get closer to talking about the depth chart, he said something that I thought was perfect. He said, yeah, I'll take a couple calls, I think, on the back end of the show. Let me run through these topics. He said the first guy that runs on the field, there has to be somebody to run on the field. Like TJ Finley's going to run on the field. But I think when you have so many starters like Alabama, just because the guy runs on the field first doesn't mean he's a designated starter for like the entire season. Like they rotate in and out. All right, so 39% want to see just quarterback pressure. That's good. Love it. Okay, here's my next question, okay? Who are you most excited to see? And please post inside the comment box. And I was thinking about this because we started talking about this last week. And if you have another option, then just post that as your option inside the comment box when you're giving feedback. A is for Justice Haynes at running back. B is for Ryan Hollywood Williams. C is for Parker Brailsford. Now, I listed a center because Parker Brailsford, like the snapping was just it was so atrocious last year. D is LT Overton, who's probably ended the fall with the most hype, right? A guy who was just certainly rising at the perfect time. I put Keanu Coat as kind of that wolf. I'm excited to see him. It could be Q-Rob that runs out on the field first. Byron's like the center. I know. That's what I think. It's like it is comical, but it's also true. Let me ask you this. During this game, how critical are we going to be of the snaps? I promise you, all these reporters are going to have like a sub-article about the effectiveness of Parker Brailsford. There's probably not a center that is going to be more, have a microscope on him other than Parker Brailsford. Did we find out, is Seth starting at Ohio State? Is he? I haven't like looked up their depth chart. A and D, okay. Justice Haynes and LT Overton. I think for me, I'm gonna go. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and I think it's more than Kool-Aid. I think Ryan Williams, and I guess I'll stay because I know what to expect in Justice Haynes, and I don't think that we're going to really see a full-on out like Justice Haynes in this type of a game. I want to see Justice Haynes what he does against like a Georgia or even against Wisconsin, right, on the road. I might go with like maybe a Keanu Coat, just so Ryan Williams and Coat for me. Any of these wolves, and we'll talk about that wolf position as well. Seth is the first team center. Oh man, crazy. Hey. All right, Jamarcus is saying A for Justice Haynes. How excited were you last year in the Rose Bowl game when we started the second quarter? When Justice Haynes came out and he was the first team running back, I was like, oh, here we go. Okay, yep. And it brought back when Tua came out in the Natty, right, against Georgia. I was like, yep, this is it. And then they pulled him. All right, appreciate the feedback. Josh is coming to us from Seattle. So we have 77 votes, and we have 36% want to see quarterback pressure when we look at this last question I asked. And then you have 24% want to see the passing game. That's going to be another area that is under a microscope. Any type of short, intermediate pass is going to be under the microscope. Jeff, that's hilarious. If Seth's starting, Ryan's more stupid than we thought he was, Kyle. Ryan Day. Right? He is, I guess. Marcus said he's starting. Lamondo Bailey is saying Damani Jackson. That's a good one. I like that ad. Sean, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Welcome back to the college football season. Happy you're here, man. Thank you so much. All right. We looked at Western Kentucky. I'll just go full screen on this graphic because I know some of the text is a little bit small. We're not going to spend a lot of time here. We already listened to their head football coach, Tyson Helton, who's been there since 2019. Last season, Western Kentucky was 8-5, 5-3, beat Old Dominion in the Toastery Bowl. They did have a quarterback going into the season. However, Coach Helton has named TJ Finley as a starter, 6'7", 255 pounds. Faced Alabama in 2020 when he was a quarterback at LSU. Since 2020, he's been at LSU, Auburn for 2 seasons. And then last season, he had his breakout year at Texas State where he threw for 3,200 yards and 24 touchdowns. On the flip side, you have Caden Veltkamp. Coach Helton said that they're going to need both of these quarterbacks this entire season, who's 6'6", 240 pounds. Against Old Dominion in the Toastery Bowl, he was 40 of 52 for 383 yards with 5 touchdowns. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about the biggest concern, and we talked about the strength of this team. Those are good topics to talk about. I asked you if Alabama will win by more than 30 points. Everybody feels, I think the majority, it was like 76% felt that they would win by more than 30 points. Let's look at the depth chart going into this week 1 game. I'll go full screen on this. So if you've seen the show before, I put icons on the players. For example, the C represents that the player is a captain, and the transfer, that's a transfer icon right there. So here's the quarterback depth chart 1 through 4. Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, Dylan Lonergan, very strong room. Jalen Milroe. Hey, we got a 50 spot from Case in here up in the house. I appreciate you, man. Look out for myself to Kyle Henderson on YouTube, College Game Day for the Georgia game, man. I appreciate you, man. That's going to be an amazing sign, man. Thank you so much, Case. I appreciate you. Very strong quarterback room. I mean, I have asked this question before, and I'll probably ask it again leading up to the game. If you feel that Jalen Milroe throws for over 3,500 yards this coming season. Randy says, hey, Kyle, I love the channel. Could we possibly get a collaboration with you and Stephen M. Smith from Touchdown Alabama? Yo, he does a great job. There's a lot of people in this space, and I ask you to support them as well. Small channel, big channel, whatever. Support them. All content creators are trying their best to give you love on the Alabama football team. Right now, I'm just kind of in a solo mode. I'm just building up the channel as best as I can for myself. I got all the respect in the world for people who used to work here that are doing their great job running their own channels. But, Steven, he's on the grind, man. He's done a really good job. He's been in here. And his voice, that's his gift from God, man. That deep voice, man, that I've never heard anybody with a voice as deep as him, right? You know what I'm talking about. He loves Alabama. He's been here for a long time. Really good dude, too. The last time I saw him, he was posted I was at Hooligans, and he was just posted up with his family. I was posted up with mine. We were eating hamburgers. Just went over. He's a good dude, man. Quarterback room looks really solid. I love it. All these guys, I think Austin Mack will get there. I think Dylan Lonergan will get there. Look, Austin Mack's a 13 quarterback. At least as of today, in my opinion, he's a 13 quarterback. Ty Simpson, I've already said my piece about him. I have so much respect for him because he's never complained. Just takes 1 season to get on the field. He's done an amazing job carrying himself as a man when anybody else in this transfer world could have dipped out and just left, right? 1,000,000%. And Jalen Milroe, the Heisman Trophy, I think it's certainly, think about it. I said this yesterday, 3,500 yards passing, 700 yards rushing. That's over 4,000 yards. It's total. He's going to score over 35 touchdowns. Probably score 40. Thanks for voting in the poll. Quarterback pressure is the thing you want to see most. Let's continue. Looking at this running back depth chart, more icons to go over. The freshman is labeled with the F. Jam Miller, healthy. Justice Haynes, healthy. I would imagine that one of these, I could see definitely Alabama rushing for over 200 yards total in this game. I'd be surprised if they don't. I think Richard Young probably gets in this game as well. I think he's going to play a lot this year. This 3 running back rotation. I don't think it's going to be a 3 running back rotation, but I think Richard Young will get fed. I think he'll rush for over 350 yards this season. You're going to need all these guys to stay healthy. And they are. Daniel Hill was in a sling earlier this year. He's good to go. Jam Miller was in a black jersey. He's good to go. Yeah, Sean, it's just me, man. 100% just me. All the graphics, every single thing that you see on the channel is just me. Appreciate it, man. Papa's channel, man. What's up, man? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Okay, looking at the top, and I do all the graphics as well. So every once in a while, you'll see it might be a little blemish or a misspelling. I'll fix it for the next show. I'm human, make mistakes. I'm accountable for the graphics and stuff like that, so I'll adjust it. Looking at the tight end room going into week 1, you got CJ Dupree, Robbie Oots, Danny Lewis, Josh Cuevas, Jay Lindsey. This was a group that I felt big stock up for me. Very athletic. CJ Dupree looks great. Robbie Oots, I mean, how are they going to utilize him? I can't wait to see that. I would love to see a 12 personnel. 12 personnel, when we talk about that, is using 2 tight ends out on the field. There's a great video. Go on YouTube and type in Kalen DeBoer's offense with 12 personnel set. So what it is you have 2 wide receivers on the far side and 2 tight ends. Let's say Robbie Oots and you have CJ Dupree. What they did, what Coach Kalen DeBoer did, was he motions Robbie Oots to the left side, and they ran power with Jam Miller, for example. So it was Jam Miller running behind Robbie Oots, who's 270 pounds, behind CJ Dupree, and behind Caden Proctor. And they also have the guard pulling, which would be Jaden Roberts. Like that, you got to move the football, right? Yeah, that's Dash, right? And Danny Lewis, let's see what he does this year. And I've heard really good things about Josh Cuevas and his ability to catch football. Jay Lindsey, just a freshman at the University of Alabama. He's like 250 pounds. Look, I have no idea. I think if I had to guess the wide receivers to step out on the field first, like the 3 wide receivers, it would be Jeremy Bernard, Kendrick Law, and Kobe Prentice. But I think there's going to be a rotation of these wide receivers. I really do. And I think as we go forward, the best will play. I don't know who the guys will be at this point in time. I think Jeremy Bernard will probably get fed a lot. I mean, we saw what he was able to do in the spring game. Hey, thanks, Sean. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Kendrick Law, one of those shorts, those YouTube shorts and this reel I put on Facebook had like 400,000 views of Kendrick Law. I'm not surprised. The guy's a beast. I cannot believe he didn't even catch for 200 yards last season. Wild. Oh, thanks, man. JS Productions. Yeah, I love graphics. I'm very visual. I love something to work off of. So I'm always, and I know you want to see something too, rather than, like, at least for me, I want to see graphics. I want to be able to, see stuff. It takes time, and I spend from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. working on all of the graphics. Then I load them into the show. I go over them. That way I have something to work off of. Same thing. I cut all the audio and the video for the other press conferences and have it ready to go. But the wide receiver room was strong. And look, you can't throw around the ride out because, do we want these guys to be ride outs? Do they have the capability to be ride outs? Yes. Caleb Odom's not even mentioned on here. Jaron Hamilton, and I know you guys want to update on Jalen Hill. We haven't got one. I mean, the guy's hurt. It was a bad injury, but he's posted every once in a while on social media, but we don't really have an update. And he's very talented when he's healthy. That's going to be a hell of a comeback story. The ride-out mentality, we want those ride-outs to come back. I feel this group can be the ride-outs. Cole Adams, man, across the middle, at that H as a slot, super talented. And then Kobe Prentice. I was just at his hometown. I think I said his hometown wrong. I went to Calera. Is it Calera or Calera? I went up there to watch Northridge and Calera play on Friday night. Sorry if I have a mispronunciation. It was interesting to get there from Tuscaloosa. I had to go up to Hoover and then back down, like kind of towards Centerville. And then what the GPS wanted me to do is go from Centerville back around to Tuscaloosa. But it was like 11 when the game, by the time I got out of there. So I just decided to go back up through Hoover and through Birmingham. I was just by myself. I didn't want to get like stranded or something like that. I'd never driven back there. All right. Here's the offensive line. The icons indicate transfers. And someone was like, hey, you shouldn't have put a transfer on Caden Proctor. He transferred. He literally went to Iowa. I know it's weird because Lyra. All right, cool. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it. Hey, where's Jimmy Baker been? Will someone check on Jimmy Baker? Oh, yo, the hat. Everybody's been asking about the hat. Chris Mobley. They got 2 stores here in Tuscaloosa. I think they might have one in Birmingham. But he left. He went to Iowa. He's back. You got Tyler Booker at left guard. He's an All-American. That's what that star indicates. And he's also a captain. Also an All-American is Parker Brailsford. He's also a transfer. So you have 3 transfers. 2 transfers starting and 2 All-Americans starting. Jaden Roberts, he's healthy. If you missed it at the beginning of the show. And then you have Wilcom Formby. Wilcom Formby. You know what I should put is an H, like for a hometown, because he's a hometown guy out of Tuscaloosa. How about that? I don't know. I like those little icons. That's why I love this NCAA football game. I haven't got to play it very much. I'm in my 2nd season. I'm towards the back end. And Wilcom Formby, it looks like he's going to be the first guy to start. He looks like he was able to beat out Elijah Pritchett. Elijah Pritchett probably the first tackle to go in for Caden Proctor or Wilcom Formby. You look at that D tackle position, Tim Keenan, Tim Smith. So what you'll have in this 4-2-5 is you'll have a D tackle and you'll have a nose guard. It could be like Tim Keenan and Tim Smith. It could be Jaheim Otis and Tim Smith. I don't know how they're going to play it, but these are guys who are all over 300 pounds, big dudes. I know a lot of you are excited about James Smith. Once again, thank you to the super chat up top, Case. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Clear. All right, cool. Thanks, Bond. I appreciate you guys helping me, as I navigate these different cities in Alabama. That's what so last year when I played in this golf tour, I got to go to so many cool places. This year I didn't play at all. I played twice. In the tour that I played, I went to Old Waverly in Mississippi. One of them was a link style course. It was right next door to Waverly. It was cool. Thanks, Jerome. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, the hoodie's tight. There was another hoodie that I was going to get that just had like the crimson. It was like circular. You've seen it before, but I went with this one. It's a little bit heavy. I could have gone for like a medium too, but it's all good. It feels, I love hoodies. The bandit position, this is new to the 4-2-5. These are guys who are not quite 300 pounds, guys that can move, guys that can get after the quarterback. You look, LT Overton certainly on the rise. Everybody was talking about him. Kane Womack called him a 280-pound ass kicker. I love that nickname. Jermaine Lathan due for a big year, and then all eyes on Keon Keeley, right, as he's moved from outside linebacker, that wolf position, now down to the bandit position. Jordan Renard, I think in due time, he'll be ready to go. And then this inside linebacker position is loaded. 3 starters. Deontay Lawson, Jahad Campbell, Justin Jefferson. The first 2 guys that go on the field absolutely will be Deontay Lawson and Jahad Campbell. And Justin Jefferson is going to be rotated in plenty, I promise you. Jeremiah Alexander looks like he's questionable for this. I didn't even know he was injured, to be honest. And then Justin Okaranko there in the back end. And then, you have some other inside linebackers that are young too. Sterling Dixon, really talented. Caden Jones, really talented as well. I didn't build out all the reserves. Maybe I will another time. Thanks for voting in the poll too. It looks like 32% of you want to see quarterback pressure this coming week. That's out of 132 votes. Followed by that is the passing game at 30%, followed by forcing turnovers, and then a creative offensive style approach. Thank you very much for voting in that. Kyle, how many Bama hoodies do you own? I think I own like 3 or 4, because I have that other one has like the Bama old school logo, and then I have the crimson one And then I might have another. I don't know. This linebacker room's ferocious. Those 3 on the left, I mean, the 2 on the left for sure will be first-round draft picks. Jahad Campbell and Deontay Lawson, right? The Wolf position, look, I mentioned Keanu Coat is one of the players that I'm excited to see. I don't know who will start, will be the first guy on the field. I would imagine it's probably Q Robinson, just because he is the vet of that room. And I think, there's not a huge talent discrepancy between these 3 right now, but I have no idea. Do I have more than 3 or 4 hoodies? The Alabama hoodies? I guess I might. I don't know. I'll do some. Oh, I saw the Lank hoodie. The problem is, like, for me specifically, is I have to wear more like light colored shirts because of the lighting, my skin tone, right? So I saw a Lank hoodie, and there's a new shipment dropping to Tuscaloosa this coming weekend. And when I went a couple days ago, they just weren't available because I asked them. Yanzi Pierre's playing this Wolf position. So you'll see him in the rotation at some point in time. But as you can see, this room is so deep. And this position, think of like a William Anderson or a Dallas Turner. I keep on saying that to make sure that you guys have in mind like what position the Wolf is. Edge rusher. Super athletic. Quay Russo, man, and then, of course, Noah Carter. The corner position, a lot of icons here. And this is the area that I'm going to attack. You take off your Alabama hat. I'm attacking these guys. I'm testing them right away. 1,000,000%. I'm going after Zabian Brown. I know he's a freshman. I know he's a ball. I'm going after him. I'm going after Damani Jackson. This entire group will be tested. You know what? This is an option that I should have probably listed. What do you want to see from the corners? Pass breakups, good tackling, interceptions. How are they doing in coverage? This group will be tested. That's the only area I'm a little bit concerned about. Lions Pride, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. That's it. Like, I don't want to get caught up in like the War Chant group and telling you every single thing is, great. Look, these guys are good on paper, but they have not played together. They have not played in the SEC. None of these guys have. I feel better about the safeties because you have Malachi Moore back there and Devontae Smith part of the ecosystem, and Keon Sabb, he should be the part. King Mack and Red Morgan, the guys who will be, next up. Patrick Trotter, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Can't hear Coach. I love Malachi Moore. I think he'll have a really big season. You know what I think I'm really interested to see Keon Sabb too. Damani Jackson and Keon Sabb. Let's add them to like players that we are like really watching. Special teams, I love this group. This might be one of the strengths, seriously, of Alabama. I think this is now I don't know who will be returning kicks and punts. I listed it as Jeremy Bernard and Cole Adams. I probably feel that Jeremy Bernard is that. I don't know who will return punts. It could be Cole Adams. It could be Jalen Mbakwe. Could be Kendrick Law. Could be Jeremy Bernard. I don't know. But the 3 on the left, man. Graham Nicholson, the Lou Groza Award, he had a really good second scrimmage. James Burnup, he's a great punter. The best they've had since J.K. Scott. He's also the holder, an experienced holder. And then you have Neelan Hibbett, who just got put on scholarship as a long snapper, who's a senior at Alabama. Thanks, Jarvis. I appreciate it, man. I love your hoodie too, man. Hoodie recognized hoodie, right? This is an A+ group. It is. And like I said, I don't know who will return the punt returner. Hey, Chris, man, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Hey, thanks, Jarvis. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. It means a lot. This might be one of my favorite graphics, okay? Because I told you I'd go back and put the logos on, right? Look at the transfers that are starting. Okay, now Coach Saban, he's responsible for getting Damani Jackson, but look what Coach Kalen DeBoer did. And I guess Caden Proctor. I mean, I would say that's I would say that's Kalen DeBoer too, to be honest. He brought in Jeremy Bernard. The first guy he brought in was Parker Brailsford. That was the very first guy. Melvin, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If I had to rank these guys, I'm actually going with Graham Nicholson as the most important transfer in. Then I'm going to Caden Proctor. Let me ask you this. Caden Proctor doesn't come. You feel good with Elijah Pritchett, right? You don't feel like amazing because you have to see him in action. Now we love that Caden Proctor comes back because he's going to be I would imagine, a top 10 pick. But you're like, okay, we can work with it. You don't have a kicker? And not to say that Connor Talty couldn't get the job done. It's just you got the Lou Groza Award winner coming in. Thank you, Chris. He's not. You get a guy from Michigan in that secondary. You get LT Overton from A&M. Parker Brailsford. You had to fix a huge leak right away. When you lifted up the hood, right, you saw that there was a huge leak, which was the center. This is my favorite graphic, seriously. Xavier Brown's good. Xavier Brown, Shiesty is good to go for this Friday. And he doesn't have a cast on anymore. Probably just like wrapped up. And here's our new coaching staff. Kalen DeBoer takes over from Washington. Courtney Morgan, GM from Washington, who, by the way, just got a huge payday. Nick Sheridan, the offensive coordinator from Washington. Kane Womack, the DC from South Alabama. He said it's comfortable for him over here. 100 degrees. It's comfortable. LA is much hotter, he said. You know where I need to go? If I take another little vacation, I want to go down to the Grand in Fairhope. It was so pretty down there. I loved it down there. You been to the Grand? I've been there one time. I stayed there 2 nights. They treated me so nice. It was top end service. It was beautiful. I rented a bike, kind of drove around. It was very peaceful, and I love the oak trees. Freddie Roach retained associate head football coach Jamarcus Shepard. Got a lot of positive praise from Western Kentucky's football coach, right? He's the co-offensive coordinator here, passing game coordinator. Robert Gillespie also retained assistant head football coach and the running backs coach. Colin Hitchler, Mo Lindquist, Brian Ellis, Chris Kapilovic, Christian Robinson working with that Wolf position. Jay Nunez as a special teams assistant working with the special teams. Jeff Allen, sports medicine guru. What is 18th year? Shiesty, yeah, that kicker, he won the Lou Groza Award, he beat out Will Reichert. Think about that. And then you have a couple other assistants right there on listed there at the bottom. Love the staff. Fairhope Middle School now has litter boxes. What the hell? That's crazy. Freddie Roach used to be, man, dude, Freddie Roach is a big man. It's crazy when they have, yes, Chris, this is live. When they have like player only dinners, these guys are huge. Like Freddie Roach is a monster. These guys make him look small. Hey fam, I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Kyle Henderson and Bama Football on YouTube. I went a little bit longer than I expected to. I will take calls tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, August 28th. And I think what I'll do tomorrow is I'll probably take some score predictions on Wednesday, or I might move that to Thursday. I'll think about it and I'll kind of report back. So maybe kind of keep in mind, and maybe what we'll do, if there's someone out there that wants to do it, we could do like a Bama Football Pick'em challenge. So, if you want to, help me keep track of the Bama Football Pick'em, let me know. I'll probably ask it here and post it in the community tab, and then we'll keep like a running tab. Maybe it'd be like 3 or 4 games each week. And it won't be like against the spread. It'll just be like straight up games. So keep thinking about that. I appreciate you guys very much for joining me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I know there's a lot of different places that you could watch Alabama news, get your content. Please support them. It's all good. You don't have to feel like you have to be linked up to one specific show or that you're going to be like going behind my back. It's all good. Honestly, there's a lot of people who do a really great job covering the Alabama football team. Please support all of them. YouTube channels, the recruiting sites, all those guys. I got all the respect for all those guys in the world because they do such a great job covering your Alabama football team. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment this morning. And I'll catch you next time or as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. One more time. Could I get a roll tide? I appreciate you guys. I love you very much. Thank you very much. Have so much gratitude going into Tuesday, August 27th. Be good people. And I will catch you as news happens or tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Same place, same time. Facebook, TikTok, X. But all the news comes to YouTube. And, of course, don't forget to follow on Spotify, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys for being a fan funder. And I will catch you as news happens right here on Bama.